Are you considering selling your home without a realtor? Is it worth it? What does that look like to even begin that process? In today's video, I'm answering those questions and going even a step further by giving you a 10-step process to sell your home for sale by owner, otherwise known as a FSBO. What is going on, guys? My name is Garrett Gahn, and I am your Orange County Realtor. I've dedicated this channel simply to providing value to those that are looking to navigate the home buying and the home selling process, as well as give a little inside glance into Southern California living. So, as mentioned, in today's video, I'm breaking down a 10-step blueprint to selling your home for sale by owner. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, why would a real estate agent be explaining how to sell a home without a realtor? Don't you make your money off helping people buy and sell homes? Well, the answer is yes, I do, but I also want to be fully transparent to the process because so many times I see people trying to sell their home for sale by owner, and they either don't even know where to start, or even worse yet, they utilize all these time and resources and end up just hiring a real estate professional like me anyway. So let's skip that very unnecessary step and give you a 10-step layout of exactly what it takes to sell your home. The ultimate goal here is for you to make a decision for yourself, whether to sell your home for sale by owner and save on that commission, or if it's going to be worth it for you maybe to hire out a real estate professional. Sound good? Let's do it. But first, there are a few things that I want you to consider. The first being if it is a seller or a buyer's market. Now, obviously in a buyer's market, it might be a little more difficult for you to take this on yourself. In a seller's market, obviously it's much more in your favor as the seller. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. In a buyer's market, if you are not very confident in your ability to price your property accurately, as well as market it and get as much eyes on your property as possible, then those things are certainly going to work against you. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is that as we look across the NAR, National Association of Realtors, there is a statistic that shows that for sale by owners on average don't get as much price per square foot as about 80% of the real estate agents out there. So there is a reason why real estate agents like myself are employed and we do what we do. There is a little more that goes into selling one's home than just simply throwing it up on the market and seeing what happens. So there's definitely some inherent risk involved, yes, but it definitely can be done if you follow and execute on this 10-step plan that I have to sell your home for sale by owner that we will get into right now. Stick around to the end though, because these last couple of steps are going to be crucial for you to understand. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Step number 1 is curb appeal. It is absolutely imperative that before a potential buyer steps foot into your home, that they are attracted to the exterior. This is a very crucial step, and it's not something that should be overlooked. Now, these things can still be very simple at the end of the day. Things like maintaining your yard, making sure it's cut, trim the hedges, put some mulch in the beds, make sure it's all weeded, power wash the driveway and the exterior of the home, make sure your cars aren't lined up in the driveway, even painting the exterior of the property if necessary would be a good idea. It's very important that your home stands out, or at least is on par with the other properties in your neighborhood. Now, this leads right into step number 2, which is to showcase the interior of the property to the best of its ability as well. We're talking about staging and decluttering. Now, if you live in the property, you can hire a professional organizer. This is somebody that can come in and help you organize and declutter and give you a very valuable perspective when it comes to the buyer's point of view. Not only will they help you declutter and organize the property, but they're also going to help you with interior decorating to a certain extent as well. Now, if your home is vacant, I always recommend my clients stage their property. A staggering statistic showed that a staged property actually spends 73% less time on the market than that of a property that is not staged. Not only that, but on average, a staged property will sell for 10% more than a non-staged property. Now, I'll give a quick real-world example of the power of staging here. Back in the beginning of the year, I took on a listing. This property had actually sat on the market for about 6 months prior to me taking the listing with no offers on the table. The first thing I did after signing the listing agreement was call my stager and have her come and stage the property. Now, the property had already had furniture in there and it was actually half staged already, but this did not cater to the specific demographic of the person that I thought would be purchasing a home like this. Now, this is definitely a crucial detail to grasp here when it comes to staging. You always want to think about the person that is going to be purchasing your home. Who are they as an individual? Is it a younger family? Do they have kids? Is it an elderly couple? Who is it? What does the neighborhood reflect of the type of person that might live there? Now, this particular property was in a neighborhood of Los Angeles that's known to be younger, people that are more in arts, entertainment, things of that nature, and I wanted to make sure to cater to that. So when I took this listing, I knew that I needed to reflect that in the staging and how we presented the property. Take a look at these two pictures that I'll put up on the screen now. This first one is how the property was set up before I got it. It's half of the owner's furniture and it's half staging. Now, at first glance, it may look nice, and it is nice, but it didn't tailor specifically to the demographic that I was targeting for the specific neighborhood. So again, always be considering who you think is going to be buying the property and tailor your staging, your marketing, your advertising to that person. Now, here's a picture showing how I had the property restaged. As you can see from the furniture, this isn't tailored as much to a family as it is to an artist or entertainer. Now, after relisting this property with the new staging, I was able to secure an offer above asking for my clients in a matter of 5 days. Remember how I told you this same property sat for 6 months with no offers? Well, that shows the power of staging and how you really need to be thinking about who the buyer is for your specific home. Now, granted, I recognize not every case is going to be quite so extreme. Maybe you're not tailoring to a young entertainer artist in Los Angeles. Maybe you are in the Midwest and you can get away with more general staging. Either way, the point is this: you need your home to present the best it possibly can, and you also still need to be considering who you think is going to be buying that property and what they are looking for in the market. With both steps 1 and 2, the point here is to leave as little to the buyer's imagination to the potential of the property as possible. You're always going to want it to show as best as it possibly can, no matter what. Let's move on to step number 3, photography. I see way too often FSBOs, or for sale by owners, will take their camera phone, snap a couple pics, and think that this is going to be sufficient. This is a massive mistake, and you are leaving money on the table by doing so. I can promise you that. Now that you just spent all that time, effort, and money into getting your property show the best that it possibly can, do not go cheap when it comes to hiring a professional photographer. Nowadays, everybody and their uncle is shopping online, so it's absolutely crucial that a professional captures your property to the best of its ability. And unless you have some degree in digital arts and a $5,000 camera sitting in your closet, you need to hire this out. Now, this is definitely a cost a good realtor would provide if you chose to hire one. I personally choose to spend a very large amount of money to hire only the best real estate photographers in my market for every single listing that I choose to take on. This proves time and time again to provide a huge return on my investment on behalf of my clients. Step number 4, marketing. If there's one thing I want you to take from this video, it's this. In order to sell your money fast and for the most amount of money, it all comes down to having the most eyes on your property. This is where marketing becomes absolutely crucial. Now, aside from maybe negotiation skills, this is probably the most critical thing that a good realtor is going to provide for you. With that said, there's still plenty that you can do to market your property. Using your professional photos, you can post on sites like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, Trulia, sites like that, and advertise on those. If you do choose to hire a realtor, they would post your listing on what's called the MLS. If you're not familiar with the MLS, this is a platform that only licensed realtors have access to, and it's somewhere where we go to post our listings to get views from realtors, thousands of realtors in the area, and frankly, millions across the country. A tremendous upside to being on the MLS is that these agents already have a slew of very qualified buyers that are looking in your area to purchase a home. Most agents will actually have a specific search criteria set up through the MLS so that when a listing hits the market and it fits their buyer specific criteria, boom, they get a notification right away as to that property right to their inbox. So having your property on the MLS is very important, and it's available to purchase to some degree through some third-party companies. Other marketing you can do without a realtor is posting on social media, things like social media marketing and advertising, 3D tours, and even drone footage. Now, when it comes to online and social media marketing here in Orange County, nobody is doing it better than my brokerage at KASE Real Estate. Not only do we have our own in-house videographers, editors, and social media experts working around the clock on every single listing that we take, but our branding is truly what is setting us apart and is getting us thousands and thousands of views on every listing that we post online. Now, not every realtor is going to be able to provide a level of service like this, and I recognize that, but if you do have some experience in online and social media marketing, you very well may be able to get a decent amount of eyes on your property as well. And remember the key takeaway here: the more eyes on your property, the faster it sells for the highest price. If you would like to know more about KASE and the very intensive multi-step marketing plan that we put into each and every single listing that we take on, go ahead and comment down below and I'll be happy to elaborate. But for the sake of this video, let's move on to step number 5. A CMA. This stands for a comparative market analysis, and it's a skill that realtors use to suggest the value of a particular property, and it's something that you can do as well. What you do is you look at homes that have sold recently in your neighborhood. I suggest no more than about a 3-mile radius from your property, and homes that have sold within the last no more than 6 months. If you're looking at sales beyond 6 months, we start to get into different buyer tendencies, and we could be in a totally different market by then. So it's best to try to limit your parameters under 6 months and within about 3 miles to get an accurate representation of what your property is going to be worth in the market right now. What you do from there is you take your advantages or your disadvantages compared to the other properties and just adjust the price accordingly. This is a skill that any good realtor should be able to provide. And it's something that you should certainly be able to do as well, because pricing your property correctly is going to be one of, if not the most crucial steps in selling your home for the most amount possible. If you do start to try this and you find that you're just not very confident in doing a very accurate CMA, go ahead and comment down below or reach out to me directly and I'll be happy to provide a CMA for your specific property. Totally free of charge, because again, pricing your property is going to be crucial. So as a recap, we have cleaned up the outside, our curb appeal is popping, we've staged the property, we've taken professional photos, and we've marketed the property. This all leads us to step number 6, showings. The showings will now start coming. Keep in mind though that the statistics say about 90% of everybody who schedules showings to see your property are accompanied by their real estate agent. Now, this agent comes with the buyer, works for the buyer, and has the best interest of the buyer in mind, not you. Now, with that said, we're going to jump right into step number 7, which is negotiations. These buyers agents that come are going to be ready to negotiate on behalf of their clients. Now, usually as a listing agent, you would never recommend your homeowner be at the property for the showings. This is so that you don't get into direct negotiation with the buyers and so that you don't end up disclosing something maybe that you shouldn't. Now, obviously, if you're showing the home yourself, it's going to be a little more difficult to do that because it is you who is going to have to set those appointments and figure out who's who and if they actually have a qualified buyer or not, or maybe if they're just wasting your time. This is all something that you will need to consider. Besides the fact that you will actually have to be prepared to aggressively negotiate with these buyers and their agents as well. Now, of course, this can be very difficult depending on your experience in sales. Step number 8, signing the contract. Now, hopefully at this point you have marketed the property so well that you've had so many eyes on the property and you've had multiple showings with qualified buyers. Next comes signing the purchase contract. But before you sign anything, you need a very clear understanding of this contract through and through, while keeping in mind that the contract comes from the buyer's agent and they are certainly tailoring that contract to perform best for their clients. If you have any questions at all with anything to do at all with the contract or what's in it, you need to reach out to a professional. Obviously, if you did have a realtor, they would understand these contracts like the back of their hand, and they would be able to walk you through each part. But if you do choose to sell yourself, just know that when you sign this purchase contract, you are agreeing to everything that's in it, all the fine print you are agreeing to as soon as pen hits the paper. Moving on to step 9, inspections and appraisals. So now that you have an enforceable contract signed by both parties, it's now time to get into inspections and the appraisal. Most purchase contracts will have an inspection and appraisal period tied into it. Here in California, the inspection and appraisal period standard is now 17 days. Within these 17 days, the buyer has the right to back out from the transaction for any reason during this time frame. This is the time period where the buyers hire specific inspectors to go through the property and make sure that there's nothing wrong with it. Now, this can be a very intensive process depending on how thorough the buyers want to be. Now, as far as an appraisal goes, it's important to understand that an appraiser works for the buyer's lender. It's the bank's way of knowing how much they're willing to lend on the property based on the appraiser's estimated value of that specific property. Now, assuming we go through the inspection and appraisal period and nothing raises any crazy red flags with the buyers and we don't need to go through renegotiations, we lead right into the final step, title and closing. A title company's main job is to make sure that there are no liens against the property and that you as the owner have full rights to transfer over full and equitable title to the new owners. They will also then issue a title insurance policy, just making sure that everything is as they said it was. Now, closing is where you're signing the official paperwork allowing the transfer of the title over to the new buyers and the buyer's funds to be issued into your account. From there, all that's left to do is shake hands, pass the keys over to the new buyers, and you are done. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a very general 10-step overview of what it looks like to sell your home. If you do have any questions regarding any of the 10 steps that I mentioned, please drop a comment down below or feel free to reach out to me directly. My partner and I, we actually have people reaching out every single day, and we love to hear from you guys and help you out. It's what we do, so please don't hesitate. Other than that, guys, please hit that thumbs up button for me if you found any value from this video, and don't forget to subscribe as I am dropping new videos like this weekly. Thanks again, guys, and see you in the next video.